It's a dark cloud, a sad atmosphere, and a moment of mourning for not just many, but all Nigerians, especially those in Benue State. The killings in Benue State have been described as inhuman and anti-progress, even as the state has witnessed lots of protests, which may be best amid what may be best described as police brutality. Well, at the latest, Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has ordered security agencies to bring an end to a wave of killings in central Benue State, promising to visit the scene by Wednesday. It is also believed that more than 200 people have died in a series of attacks across various communities in the last few days alone. That is our focus on the conversation today on Leadership Podcast. I have in the studio an advocate, an indigene of Benue State, who is a relentless fighter for safety and protection of the Benue people. He is also a former Idoma Youth President. He is Gideon Obande. Good to have you join me. Same here. Yeah, we'll be joining Gideon after this short break. But remember that you can always be part of this conversation. All you need to do is like, share, and also comment on our Facebook page, YouTube, and as well as Instagram and TikTok. The handle still remains at LJE Nigerian. Well, we'll be back after this break. I am Chikodinava Didi.
Nigeria is at a turning point. Young people are rising, demanding change. If you believe in justice, strong leadership, and real reform, then it's time to take a stand.
At LJE Nigeria, we're not just observers, we're builders. We're tackling leadership deficits, advocating for justice reforms, and driving economic advancements for all.
As a volunteer, you won't just watch. You will be a part of it. You will gain access to powerful seminars, conferences, and mentorships from professionals who believe in your potential.
No matter who you are, whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, a professional, or someone who cares, there's a place for you here.
Network with passionate change makers, build skills, and step into leadership.
Join LJE Nigeria today. Let's lead with truth. Let's build with courage. Let's rise for Nigeria. Become an LJE volunteer today and be the change Nigeria needs. Follow all our social media handles for more details.
Well, it's still Leadership Dialogue Podcasts. And of course, I told you earlier that I have in the studio an indigene of Benue State. And he is also the former youth president of the Idoma Worldwide. And of course, he is a serious advocate, one who has been fighting relentlessly for the safety and protection of his people. He is a vocal voice within the Benue people. He is Gideon Obande. Well, before we went on that break, Gideon, and also good to have you join us, you only returned from Benue State a few days ago. Yeah. You witnessed all of the killings, that has engulfed not just Nigeria, but the world. Give us a first-hand narration of how it all happened.
Yeah, the Benue geographical space is in senatorial zones. I was in Benue South, precisely, where, it's dominantly the Idoma people. And may I just remind you that before that attack, there have been series of attacks in the Benue South. As a matter of fact, within same week that you had that attack in the Apa and at the two axes of Benue, there have been serious attacks.
The same Agatu where there
was serious
massacres from a few years back.
So in same Agatu, some villages within Agatu and Apa, that's Idiku and some other villages were attacked. So the attack in Benue, sorry to say, has spanned more than 8 decades. It's just that the awareness has become more and more with the happenings in Benue. So yes, I was on ground in Benue when it happened, but I was not at the site because we are, poles apart. However, because of proximity, relationship and interaction. Yes, we're getting first-hand evidence from what was happening. For instance, the village that was attacked, Yelwata to be precise, I passed there 3 days before that attack. Because I went to Benue South through Makodi. And if you're going through Makodi, you must pass Yelwata to Daudu before you go to Makodi. Now, I have a senior friend who is in the United States currently, on an academic exercise, Barrister Frank Uto. That is his village. So we can afford to get first-hand evidence of who, which family, where, male, sex, female, children, adults, or women that were involved. And he has released the long list of 100 and that have been confirmed, names, families they are from, sex, confirmed of those that had passed on the others. Some have not been seen. People are still missing. But you can't conclude that they are dead.
The social media was also agog with, video clips of children who were burnt alive. This is a case of genocide, isn't it?
I will agree with you totally that is genocide. But more importantly, I want to remind us that this is religious, this is ethnic cleansing, this is politically motivated.
How so? Because only a few hours ago, probably in the last 24 hours, Senator Akume released a statement where he also did say that the recent killings in Benue State should not be looked at from the prism of religion, but rather economic. So are you not actually contravening the thoughts of Senator Akume?
I want to remind you that in political science, there is a segment that talks about political economy. You can't discuss economy without politics. The two are interwoven. However, the mindset of the speaker as at the time he or she made the position matters. And I want to align with believing that he made that out of the mindset that this attack is going to stop my people from going to the farm. And so he's looking at it from the economic perspective. It's also true. But it does not negate the fact that it is politically motivated. I say that with all audacity and conviction because this reinforced attack in this magnitude started as soon as the drums of coalition and other political exercises heated up. As soon as there was an amplified voice of resistance to the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu by the North, we started seeing reinforced attack from every segment. From the Borono axis, you will accept with me that there have been massive attacks that have led to loss of lives and property, even of military personnel. And I can see unequivocally that the same persons who are driving that process are behind this. And it's simple. The same way they gaslighted Jonathan is the same approach they want to use to gaslight the current president.
You think it's something that has to do with presidency?
I am convinced 200% that what is playing out has 60% to do with 2027 elections.
Are you in possession of some private information?
May I remind you that individuals made some statements that they were going to make Nigeria ungovernable for Jonathan, and they did. Because security issues escalated and actually Nigeria became ungovernable. I want to remind you that some of these individuals are in a coalition. And because they have used a certain approach and it has worked before, there is every reason for them to think that same approach can still work.
This is an allegation.
It's not an allegation. It's a statement of fact.
How factual?
May I remind you?
Because the coalition are also fighting for the souls of Nigeria.
Get me very right. I am saying unequivocally that some of these persons who were involved in pulling down Jonathan are part of this coalition. I say without me seeing what Governor Nasir El-Rufai, who everybody knows that have been making statements even while sitting in government as a governor.
Are you accused?
During an election, he used his mouth to say that people will live in body bags and nothing was done. A man who is sitting in power and should reflect justice and equity makes such a statement, and that man today is seeking for power. You think that he will stop at nothing to get this power?
This is a direct accusation.
The direct accusation, I challenge him to come out and say that he doesn't know what's happening in Nigeria.
Well,
He should come out and tell Nigerians.
we do not know for sure if an El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, has a hand in this, because as far as we know, an El-Rufai has also been, forward in his statement on how Nigerian economy has, has gone down in recent times, and also has been talking for his people.
I remind you that Kaduna State went into the highest form of crisis when Governor Nasir El-Rufai was governor of Kaduna State. Southern Kaduna was in a mess. What is happening today in Kaduna? The Kaduna situation of today is better than when El-Rufai was governor. Oh yes. The indigenes of Kaduna State know it. The Southern Kaduna indigenes will tell you same.
Can you back this statement with the facts?
I just told you that you can challenge me to it if the security situation right now in Kaduna is not better than when El-Rufai was governor.
No. I mean with just opposing this with the recent killings in Benue or the series of killings.
I want to remind you that the killings in Benue.
The former governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai, is not from Benue.
May I remind you, I said it is political. These killings are going on simultaneously in Plateau State, simultaneously in Taraba State. Taraba was hit less than a month ago, and more than 50 persons were killed in that attack. That is why I said it is political. There is a deliberate attempt, just like the Middle Belt was destabilized during the Goodluck era, being seen as allies of Goodluck. It was to tell the Middle Belt that Goodluck can't protect you. Goodluck is not doing well for you. I saw there's no need to stay with Goodluck. And the Middle Belt turned their back on Goodluck. Oh yes, and Goodluck losses. Tinubu is here. Directly or indirectly. The Middle Belt is being favored by the Tinubu's administration. The SGF is from the Middle Belt, something that the likes of El-Rufai were interested in being.
The SGF is from the North Central.
It's from the Middle Belt. Don't tell us we are not central. You cannot call us you when you are destroying us. We are Middle Belters, we are not from the North Central.
But what we do know is that we have the North Central, we have your and
it's totally your business. Because as far as I'm concerned, these names you call are conventional, they are not constitutional. And when it is a constitutional time, we will choose what we want to be called. We are Middle Belters, we are not from North Central.
Is this not a way of also dividing the unity of the country?
The country is not divided, we only choose a name.
And what we do know generally is the North Central.
The fact that you know generally that it's been North Central is not written anywhere that we are not central. The Constitution is what binds this country. The Constitution does not recognize what you are talking about. So you don't force on us an identity that we don't want. Is it constitutional? Does your Constitution, our Constitution, talk about its geopolitical zone? No.
But that is what has
conventional school. It is conventional. And because you have proven to us that we are not brothers, why should we answer saying, Sonny, we are Middle Belters, we are not from North Central?
So you believe in your heart that a widespread of violence or violent conflicts in most parts of Nigeria has, to a large extent, been a thing that has been propagated by the Northerners? Is that what you're saying?
The Fulanese are predominantly from the north.
And even in the north, we have the Hausa tribes. There are several tribes in northern Nigeria.
We have the Hausa tribe and there are several tribes in northern Nigeria. But what we know as Middle Belters is that the militias, the Fulani militias that have been attacking us are predominantly from the corner.
And the Fulani, the Fulani region, or the Fulanis, we do know them as nomads. And for several decades, they have lived in Nigeria peacefully with every other person, going around their business of cattle rearing. And never have we heard that we ran into this kind of crisis we were running into in terms of killing of human lives and all. But in recent time, you would also agree that it has been said on and on again that there's been an infiltration, the porous borders, across the ECOWAS region, the Sahel, the Lake Chad region. We have people coming into Nigerians who are also nomads. And for the most we know,
And Fulanis.
Fulani is some of them do not speak Fulfulde. Some of them do not speak Fulfulde. Some of them speak French.
Where are they coming here through?
The borders are porous from the ECOWAS region.
Hello. Where are they coming in through? Are they coming in through the south? Are they disappearing and appearing in Nigeria?
The fact that they are coming through a route does not
A route, and the people in the route have never raised their alarm. The people in the route have never been seen using their local vigilantes to stop the movements. The people in that route have never been seen cooperating with security to stop this infiltration.
I remember that during the era of the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, that's when we came up with, the country came up with a joint multinational task force. And it's a task force that consists of, military personnel from the adjoining countries to Nigeria, Niger and co. But in recent times, you would also agree that Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso all opted out from the ECOWAS alignment. Do you not think that has also worsened the security situation of the country?
May I remind you that these nations you just called are battling same thing we're battling. Burkina Faso is battling nomads. Oh yes. Mali is battling. The only nation that their battle is not pronounced is Nigeria.
Which is the closest to Nigeria.
Closest to us. So how are we?
But prior to this time,
that.
we had reports of how the Nigerians, in collaboration with the Nigerian military, were able to demystify to decimate the Boko Haram and all of those militia groups, pushing them to the fringes,
Right now,
and then gave Nigeria some subtle leave.
now, our bilateral relationship with this country is down.
Isn't that a problem?
It is a problem in one way. In another way,
Could you not also
it is not a problem in another way.
just a minute, could you not also say that perhaps this love lost between Nigeria and Niger as a result of, Niger leaving the ECOWAS, going on their own, the military takeover there, may have also led to some cracks in the way the joint task force has been fighting or trying to secure the country?
May I remind you the words of Mahatma Gandhi of India? He said, whatever is right, and whatever is wrong, regardless of who is doing it. It is wrong that there was military takeover of a civil rule. It is wrong. Okay? And if Nigeria, leading ECOWAS at this time, will not take a stand, it will be failure of leadership. And Mr. President have clearly taken a stand. And that is why there's a fallout. As a Democrat, I stand with the President and I stand with ECOWAS of that decision. Because we cannot afford going back to Egypt.
Absolutely.
So, moving forward, Niger would be showing responsibility to ensure that she does not grant access to anyone who is using her as a route to destabilize another nation. You know what?
But that's no fault.
There may be fails with you today. It doesn't mean you can't be enemies tomorrow.
While we understand as facts, the porous borders is also a major
Porous border.
the ungoverned space in
Nigeria is not as important as the internal issues we have. If the internal issues we have are solved, naturally the borders won't be porous.
No, because we're looking at the countless killings going on. And
Countless killings going on. These people are not flying.
but they're coming in through these borders. But
They are coming in on land. We are spending heavy resources purchasing military equipment every day. Are they to be kept for purpose of museum services, or they are meant to be used?
So how governed are our borders?
How governed are our borders? I want us to take that out of this conversation today and look at it holistically as a fresh conversation. Because we need to look at our immigration system. We need to look at the manpower of the Nigerian immigration service. How many are there? Considering the number of our borders. Now, in the immigration service, everybody is not an armed personnel. The armed squad of the immigration service, what is their strength? Personnel-wise, equipment-wise, to withstand any aggression, peradventure, at the line, in the line of duty, they come across these aggressions. These are things we must look at practically, because these people are humans, they are not spirits. And whether you like it or not, personnel strength matters. The presence of the Nigerian police is felt the way it is felt because they have more personnel than any of the services. It's as simple as that. Even at that, their number is insufficient. So in tackling this insecurity, military, paramilitary, all the armed forces and paramilitary have to be given the opportunity for mass recruitment. The Inspector General of Police should remove the caveat of saying you have to go through the police academy before you can be enrolled into the police as an officer. The NDA has been there since God knows when, and they are still taking direction service. They are not stupid. He should review it. Because policing is a difficult assignment. And whether you like it or not, you need vast intellectuals, professionals from different fields to make this work. What is the strength of our, intelligence agencies? DIA, NIA, DSS. Personnel-wise, what's their strength? These are critical things we must look at. How many DSS personnel are present in a local government? How many DIA personnel are present in a state before we won't talk about a local government? How many NIA people are present? When you call a police division, the division is made up of how many personnel? Sometimes we must be human and appreciate the effort of these people.
All right. Only a few weeks or a few months ago, the Chief of Army Staff went on press to say that he's redeploying to Makurdi.
Yes.
So what changed? The presence of a Chief of Army Staff, most revered, did that not change the situation of Benue? How is it that even when a chief's presence was believed to have been felt, we still have a recurrence of killings in Benue?
I will tell you this. His visit was a double-edged sword.
Okay.
Why do I say that? It is a double-edged sword. Why do I say that? On one edge of the sword, his visit normally should have enhanced,
Policing and
security, might and all of that. In the other way, those you have gone to stop want to prove to the world that your presence doesn't matter. So it can also call for aggression. Okay? But it is now dependent on you after the aggression. What do you do? To show capacity, to show force. The audacity you go back to the field with to show your presence is what matters. However, we will look forward to seeing that happen after the visit of Mr. President. You know, if the commander-in-chief comes in and leaves, we expect to see that rapid transformation, that explosion from all angles security-wise, trying to reclaim back the Nigerian territory and take back, restore the confidence of the citizens back. We expect to see that. However,
is there a loss of communication between the federal and the state's government as far as Benue issues are concerned?
I may not be in the best position to answer that, but this is what I will tell you. I want to believe that the information, there been an adulteration of information flow. There been an adulteration.
To what
of the
extent?
flow of information. To what extent I cannot assert. But I can say without mincing words that there been an adulteration somewhere.
Because I asked this question because from the statement of the president, he did say that it is time that the governor of your state begin to consider reconciliation moves.
My point exactly.
So who are we reconciling?
That's my point. That's why I said it is, with reference to that, I said there must have been an adulteration. It is very possible that there been a misrepresentation in the picture presented to Mr. President. I want you to know that the picture presented to Mr. President is saying it's a farmer herders issue. He will think reconciliation because both the farmers and the herders are important to the Nigerian economy.
Mm-hmm.
However, if Mr. President knows that this is not a problem between nomads and farmers, but a problem between militias who have not been provoked just coming in to kill people in their sleep, his statement will be different. Oh yes. Because that's what's happening. So if you tell him there's a problem between farmer and herders, he will think reconciliation as the best way out. But this is not farmer and herders crisis. This is a case of hired militias coming in to kill people and take over their lands.
Has Governor Hyacinth failed in his first duty of preserving lives and property?
I want you to know that the primary role of a governor is the role of the chief security officer of that state. What are you securing? Lives and property. If we are to X-ray on the indices of the security of lives and property, on a scale of 1 to 10 as it stands, he cannot score 5.
An abysmal mark?
Because currently, every part of Benue is shaking security-wise. People are shouting. People are dying.
What could be responsible?
People cannot go to farm. Places that were not exposed to attacks before are now exposed. For instance, Akpa, Otobi, maybe you heard of the killings when it happened there. It's somewhere that has never been attacked before. It's not in a border place. But the suspension of the open grazing law was a big mistake. And that was one of the things His Excellency Governor Hyacinth earlier did when he came into office. What we are reaping now is a fallout of the suspension of that law. If that law was in place, there would be no justification why any cattle should be seen roaming to give a cover to criminal elements infiltrating the state. But since the law was lifted, what do you get?
Every state has got elder statesmen, men who are believed to have the minds and the power to speak or compel the state governor into doing what is right for the people. There are unforeseen hands in, the realm of politics and governance in every state. And in the case of Benue, we have some prominent politicians, people who have been known for, their sagacious jobs at the federal. Take, for instance, the minority leader of the Senate, Senator Akume, on the other side, and then Senator Suswam, who was a one-time governor of Benue State and the immediate past governor of the state. How is it that at a time like this, we are not hearing any of them speak?
I want you to know that governance is a very dicey issue. Dicey because those who have passed through that line may not want to be seen wading too much into your affairs except you call for them. The question I will ask is that how many times have the current governor called for a stakeholder meeting in the state? A stakeholder meeting across political lines.
Is the governor walking alone?
It seems so. Because you just said that you are not hearing any of these people talking. So what does that speak? Volume. It speaks volume. Because these are people we would expect that should be seen talking. And when they are not talking, it means that something is wrong.
What can be done?
The governor must understand that if the security of the state is compromised in any way, that failure is his failure. And whatever he's supposed to do to arrest this situation, he must do. This involves reaching out to leaders of the state at every level, regardless of political party, regardless of existing political differences. It's no time to, those issues are trivial compared to the lives being lost right now. Whatever feud he has with anyone, he must set it aside. I'm not interested in who he has what with, but right now is a time to set that feud aside and cross-pollinate ideas to solve this. Because it may be his village tomorrow. The local government that has just been ravaged is the local government of the immediate past governor. Dr. Samuel, His Excellency Dr. Samuel Oto. That's local government. Benue South that have been ravaged is the senatorial zone of the minority leader. Who knows where next? Once upon a time, Governor Suswam's place was under siege. In the earlier days, the logo Kumaxis, where he represented in the Senate, had been under the sinful and siege before.
And what happened?
He was able to handle it to a reasonable extent.
How did he do that? He did that as an individual, or
he did that as a sitting state governor with state apparatus, and he did his best. And that is why it looked like nothing like that was happening in his time. Information management is key. Response is also key. When you respond in good time, people don't shout.
As a former Idoma youth president, and I'm going to speak to you using your capacity. You only handed over a few months back, January to be precise. So that means for a long period of time, you were overseeing the affairs of the Idoma youths. There are some quarters who believe that it is time for the Idoma people, particularly the youth, to bear arms. As a youth president of the Idoma people, and as well as a vocal voice for the Benue youths, what would be your word of advice?
I will want to say, one, as an Idoma man, I am from the old Kwarafa kingdom. The old Kwarafa kingdom had her headship with the Jukos. By extension, I'm trying to tell you that General T.Y. Danjuma, who said long ago that it is time for everybody to begin to carry arms to defend themselves, as a retired general and retired minister of defense of this country, he knew what he was saying. As a young man, it is only right that I align with that, because I know that if Nigerians have arms, these people will not come and kill them like chickens at night. There would have been a response. But when a man comes with you with arms and you are defenseless, you run for your life, and those who can't run, majority women and children most times, bear the brunt, and the aged people, they are killed in the process. If the Nigerian government approves the use of arms, I can tell you that we will kiss the operations of Fulani militias goodbye, because we are brave-hearted young people who have not submitted their will and their conviction to this oppression. And that is the reason why you still have the existence of the Middle Belt, of the Benue Valley. And I say unequivocally that we are not giving up, we are not scared, we will not be overrun. Whether the government supports us or not, we will not be overrun. And I tell my brothers, I tell my sisters, I tell my fathers, my mothers, defend yourself in any way you can. Spiritually, physically, otherwise, defend yourself. Life is for the living, not the dead.
It's been an emotional conversation. And of course, as Nigerians, and of course, as in Nigeria, well, our hearts still pours out for the Benue people, and then we'll still pray for Benue people, and then as well as several other communities who today cannot sleep with their eyes closed. We still look out for the people in Plateau States, the northwestern region. It's been a situation, of course, and we are looking forward to a time when all of this will become a thing of the past, such that Nigeria will be peaceful again, just the way it was growing up, in our growing up days, where we could have our communal lifestyle, reignited for the better again. Well, this is where we'll call it a day on today's edition of the Leadership Dialogue Podcast. Well, my guest has been Obande Gideon, a formidable voice and an advocate for the safety and protection of his people in Benue State. He is a former Idoma Youth President up until January 2025. Well, he is a Nigerian, and a strong one at that. Gideon, we must thank you for your time, and know also that our prayers are with you, and keep up the good work. We know the world is listening to you, the world is hearing your voice, and the world is coming together in any way possible to bring succor to your people. Our hearts goes out to them. Well, thank you very much. And thank you also for being a part of the podcast. I am Chikodnaka Dili. Remember that you can always be part of this. All you need to do is drop your comments, like our page, subscribe to our YouTube page, and several other pages we do have on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. The handle still remains at LJE Nigeria. We'll be back again. Bye for now.